Thrill me.
I'm gonna name you Coda. You get a name too, Podo.
I got good news and bad news, girls. The good news is your dates are here.
What's the bad news?
They're dead.
You too? You got a boner too? Blue Steel.
Welcome, everybody, to another Q's and T's installment of the Unkind Rewind. In a minute here, we'll be getting to our discussion ahead of watching next week's movie with Karyn Cooper of Chick-Lit with Karyn and Aubree. Really fun podcast. Adam and I have been on there. There's reason to believe Sean and I will be as well, once they're sort of back up and running in earnest. But yeah, really fun pod. Definitely check them out. Karyn's great. Aubree's great. But we've got Karyn with us this week. So we'll be talking maybe more North Carolina, if I remember correctly. I am recording this sans Sean. I am, of course, Josh Dugan. But my co-host Sean McGrath is unavailable because of the fact that I'm recording this on Thanksgiving, for our American listeners at least. The holidays, whatever. I don't want to get too far into the holiday. It's not without its ahistorical, problematic nature. So, anyway. In our Discord, Alex is also a Tar Heel and was glad that last week's movie, Brainstorm, had a fair amount of North Carolina talk. He said he was a happy Tar Heel. Last week, we were, of course, discussing Brainstorm with Leo J. Allen Jr. Very fun episode. Gopher Balls on Blue Sky had said that he was looking forward to the pod, but my random thoughts from the movie rewatch are, it's not good, but it's not bad either. It was competently made, and the special effects hold up for the most part. The ending, not so much. It was smart to not explain the science beyond even a flux capacitor level. It moves slowly but surely and is well grounded until the third act becomes quite ridiculous. There. He goes on, it could have used some humor. Aside from Louise Fletcher, the acting is mostly forgettable. This might be the only movie where Christopher Walken can be described as dull. Again, fair. And then he finishes up. It's unclear how much the Natalie Wood tragedy shortened her role. Her scenes were often cut short, but I didn't notice when her sister stood in for her in the footage shot after her death. Maybe it was obvious, but I didn't learn that fact until after I watched it, so I wasn't looking for it. And I just responded to that last point. I watched it twice for the recording, and I couldn't tell when it was Lana and when it was Natalie. So, yeah, anyway. If you didn't check out last week's episode, very fun. Talking a kind of historically significant film because of what happened behind the scenes and what happened that truncated the filming of the movie. Yeah. Yep. Anyway. Well, I've got the tryptophan coursing through my veins, so I feel like I should probably just throw to the Q's and T's discussion with Karyn Cooper of Chick-Lit. Again, check out the podcast. It's Chick-Lit with Karyn and Aubree, Karyn with a Y. make sure to check them out. All their contact info, or all their socials and whatnot, is in the show description of the show notes. Without further ado, Karyn Cooper. Welcome, everybody, to another installment of the Unkind Rewind. This week we've got a teaser episode with Karyn Cooper. Karyn, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience, since not all of them may know you?
Hello, I am Karyn Cooper. I am one half of the Chick-Lit podcast, which is a podcast in which my best friend Aubree and I read books that we read growing up and dissect them, see if they hold up. Sometimes we roast them. Currently, we're doing Stephenie Meyer's New Moon this season, so it is a big roast fest.
Sean,
Which one are you? Are you chick or lit?
Usually lit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You may not know this, Karyn, but Sean was in Twilight.
No.
Oh,
Sean was also in New Moon.
New Moon. They
Josh.
reused his footage.
No.
They reused his footage from Twilight in New Moon.
Why don't I just say, Karyn, if she's familiar with the movie, I could give her a line.
Yes.
Wait,
Focus.
get your motivation, Sean.
Yeah. It's usually like this. Get the... Whoa. Where are you going? Why don't you
That was you?
you should hang out with us. Oh yeah. One of four.
Tell her how long you shot on Twilight.
Those were all nights. Those were like
Mhm.
we were called. I think our call was 7 or 8 p.m.
Because you were one of the Port Angeles creepo people, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's how I introduce myself to people now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the 2 days, night shoots, and then 1 day shoot the following week, walking past
The window.
a dress store.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense that they reused your footage because it's basically the exact same scene, but then they cut back to Kristen Stewart and she's just like doing something different because it's a year or two later.
Yeah, it was a nice phone call to get from the agent saying, you're in, and just talk to you later.
Collect a check, hopefully.
Yeah. Thanks,
Oh.
Crispin Glover.
Definitely collected a check.
He's the one I have to thank for that too, by the way, because he sued Spielberg for trying to use Back to the Future 1 footage and Back to the Future 2.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that.
Mhm. And he won. And
He was right.
he was right.
He was right.
Yeah, that's fucked
But
up.
everyone treated him like such a dick for that.
Yeah, I mean, there was also the whole weird incident with Letterman where
He's strong, Josh. He can kick.
where he kicked him.
He's strong. He can kick.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, it was a weird.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a weird, like one of the weirdest late night moments. Is Crispin Glover accidentally? He didn't mean to kick Letterman, but he kicked Letterman.
He didn't. I don't think he kicked.
Or
Letterman.
maybe he didn't land it, but it felt like he was going to land it, and so it
he
was like
wearing-
the most awkward thing ever.
He was wearing platform heels too, like 70s disco platform
As
heels.
if
could see that
Crispin
for him.
Glover needed to wear those. Crispin Glover is a tall
He's
man.
so tall. Yeah.
He was struggling, I think, with the fame of that moment. He didn't
Oh,
really
for
know
sure.
how to kind of handle Letterman,
Yeah.
which many people don't. But
And he's a total weirdo.
Sure.
I mean, no judgment, but I don't know if you've ever seen his movie. I think it's called What Is It?
The
One of
only thing I think I've ever
weirdest
seen
fucking
him
things.
in is Back to the Future 1 and 2.
You may have seen him in Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's one of the bad guys in the first Charlie's Angels movie.
Okay. Anytime I see him in anything, I just think I'm your density.
Mhm.
Yeah, as one does.
His density has pumped him to you, I believe.
So back to our guest.
Karyn, what was your, I guess, what was your childhood like
Oh,
when you were watching the movie that we're about to be talking
Yeah,
about?
we don't need to go too deep dive on the couch here, Josh,
well,
but we can.
Yeah.
one bleak day in
Yeah.
1993. No, so this movie came out in '02, which means I would have been 9.
Yeah.
I want to say I know that I didn't see it in theaters. I think this was a Friday night movie. My best neighborhood friend and I would have these sleepovers where her mom would she would go grocery shopping on a Friday afternoon. She would drop us off at the local video store and let us pick out whatever DVDs we wanted, and she would buy our snacks while she was grocery shopping. Um, and so this was one of those DVDs that we picked out, and then I think I remember that she really didn't like it, and I did. Um, because she just wasn't into the whole historical thing. Like I think I had to like talk her into
Hmm.
picking it. Um, and I like I remember being so into that movie. Like I think I rented it 3 or 4 more times that same year, which probably would have been like '03 or
Hmm.
something like that. So I was probably 10.
Sure.
And I just remember like thinking it was so romantic and like Alexis Bledel, I think I had a little bit of a crush on her and like and all the boys in the thing. So
Mhm.
um and then I read the book sometime after that. I know that I saw the movie first and then I
Okay.
read the book.
Is this coming to the movie with prior knowledge of it? Like you knew that it had been out, you couldn't get to it in a theater, or was this walking past it at the video store and going, "Ooh, what's this?"
So it was a walking past in the video store because I had a very sheltered childhood. I wasn't even allowed to like watch Shrek when it came out. Like I was like PG was like pushing it.
Mhm.
And so I do remember this was one of the first PG movies that my mom was like, "Oh, okay, this looks okay. We can watch this."
So when you
Um,
went into this video store, you would get a movie, but then it had to be okayed.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
So like
With the other mom too, or just with yours?
well, the friend's mom like was way more lenient. So
Okay.
sometimes she would forget to check with my mom, and I can't remember if this was one of those times or not. But I do remember that it was like one of the first PG movies that I had seen.
I'm gonna
Okay.
guess that she conveniently didn't
I
forget
think she
the times
probably, yeah,
that she didn't call.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Friday night was her night to put on '80s music and put on her headphones and dance around in her craft room. So we would all be upstairs watching
Okay.
movies, and she'd be listening to Friday Night '80s
So
on
Talk
98.1.
Everlasting was a slip up of this other
M
parent.
most likely. She was the coolest mom in the
Okay.
neighborhood. Like
Okay.
she was younger than everybody else's mom. She was very cool.
Was
But
there
not in
any?
like the Mean Girls way. Like she
Mhm.
was actually cool.
She's getting snacks. I mean, say no
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Were there any other like weird sort of slightly transgressive movies that you snuck by with this parent?
And I think a lot of M. Night Shyamalan.
Okay.
Because like
Yeah,
I
you're of
really
that age that you
definitely
want your mind to be blown, kind of.
yeah. And like, for somebody who's 10, 11, like
Mhm.
Signs is like a mind-blowing plot
Sure.
twist movie,
And it's got kids in it, so you
And
have
it's
like
got
an
kids in
analog in the
it.
movie.
Yeah, I remember, I think that same summer, well, it might not have been the same summer, but like a couple summers after that, we had watched like most of whatever M. Night had put out at that point. It's like I saw Sixth Sense, I saw Unbreakable was a big one. Unbreakable was my
Yeah.
favorite one.
Unbreakable's dope.
It's really good.
It's really good.
But anyway, so yeah, that was I think the only other one was Harry Potter movies because there were some Harry Potter movies that were PG-13 that I
Mhm.
wasn't allowed to see. And I think my first PG-13 movie actually was a Harry Potter movie.
That's funny.
I'm pretty
That's
sure.
Was Shrek vilified for it being kind of fantasy and ogres and things of that nature, or was it language, or was it suggestive? Like where did
I bet it was Eddie Murphy.
it was probably Eddie Murphy. It was probably
Probably.
an anti-donkey household that you grew up in. But like, what did you feel like there were tiers of things that mom was most cautious with you about violence, sex, language, other? Where did it fall?
It was definitely like for Shrek, it was the crudeness. It was like the crassness of it
Mhm.
because it's funny for kids, like like he's like farting a bunch and like all that. And my mom was just she's like a very reserved like Southern Christian woman who like doesn't like any of that stuff. Like to this day, if I like fuck up and say like a curse word around her, she'll just go like I know for Shrek that's what it was. It was more just like how disgusting it was.
Okay.
But like I wasn't even allowed to like watch Cartoon Network. Like all the children's programs I watched were like educational on like PBS and stuff. A big one that I couldn't, a big cultural touchstone that she kept me from me was Pokemon. Because to this day, like I still don't really know enough about Pokemon to like be in on the jokes that people make or like whatever else. The other day, Aubree sent me a picture of something that her boyfriend had 3D printed, and it was a Bulbasaur. And I guessed, I was like, "Is that a Bulbasaur?" And she was like, "Good job."
I wouldn't have known it, but that's more of an age thing, I think.
It
than
is. It is.
Yeah.
People in their like upper 20s, early 30s,
Yeah.
Pokemon is very big.
Yeah. I'm definitely, the micro generation out of that. Yeah, which is fine. It's not everything's for me.
Apparently me either, because
Sure. For different reasons. Mine
yes.
is, being a crotchety old fuck.
What's a good example, Karyn, of a movie that mom appreciated you watching or rewatching?
Oh man. Well, one of the ones that was, I mean, most all of the Disney princess movies,
Those are okay.
those were fine, even though like,
Even Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast, Stockholm
Because
Syndrome.
that's bestiality.
That's yeah.
Some
Well,
serious
only temporary though. He does
Sure.
right.
Right.
Like, is it because he's in the body of a beast, but he has the mind of a man? So like, is it technically? I don't know. Maybe that's where my monster boyfriend romance love for that type of genre came from.
I wonder if what's his actual name? Prince or whatever.
Prince. It's not Eric. That's Little Mermaid. Oh my
God damn
God.
it.
Okay. Well,
This is really aggravating.
let's just call him the
should know
prince.
this. Yeah.
I wonder if he goes back to being a human and then he's like, oh,
She's not
shit.
into me.
I think that he'd be a little disappointed over the loss of his beastly penis.
That's true. That's true.
He'd be like, oh,
It's like I can't break her in half anymore.
I lose that too. Wow, that was kind of the best thing about being a beast.
I'm really irritated that I can't think of the werewolf erotica, whatever that fucking.
Oh my God, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that term where
the alpha thing.
Yeah. We'll just move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Anytime we go into werewolf erotica, we should just move on.
Yeah. But that's totally a thing, Sean.
Sure.
Shrek erotica is also a thing.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
It's called Get in My Swamp. And that's why I can't remember the author, but
also blank erotica is a thing. So
yeah. But like werewolf erotica is a whole genre.
It's like Rule 34. I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so memory can be a tricky thing. Having not rewatched Tuck Everlasting in ages, can you briefly describe what you remember the basic plot of the movie being? Just we don't need like a ton, but
sure.
Broad strokes.
Broad strokes. This mysterious family like moves to town, I think, and Alexis Bledel is like, I'm just a little Victorian lady, well, teenager, and then she like meets this family and they like are, I guess, used to be from here, and then they have I'm pretty sure they have a very almost Twilight-esque conversation in the woods because she asks him how old he is and he accidentally is like 104 or something. And then he's like, just kidding, I'm 17. And she's like, how long have you been 17? No, I'm just kidding.
That's a great joke, by the way. If you add 80 to 60 years to your age when people ask.
Yeah, just it's hilarious.
I'm looking forward to a really funny movie.
And then there's some kind of conflict because she finds out that this family has drank from this like spring in the woods near her house that has made them live forever. And they're trying to keep her from telling everybody about it. So they kind of low-key kidnap her, but not really. And then I feel like somebody else finds out about it and they're trying to like let the secret out so that people can drink from it, and probably so that they can turn it into a capitalist venture.
Or a weapon.
Yeah.
Or a weapon. Yes.
It's one of the two, but capitalism's always to blame.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
But that's roughly what I remember.
Those are broad strokes. We like it.
Yeah.
I just remember a lot of like a young teenage boy like running through a field with Alexis Bledel.
From not knowing anything really about this, my like I guess auto response to something like Tuck Everlasting was like poor man's Jane Austen is kind of like what I had. So that's all I have kind of going into this.
I think that's Bridgerton actually, but you know.
Okay, is this a little pre?
Only with more hump. Bridgerton's like plus humping.
Bridgerton is plus humping.
Yeah. I don't know how mom's gonna like Bridgerton. You go into the video store and renting Bridgerton.
Yeah,
Karen.
yeah.
Do you think your mom's watching Bridgerton?
No, I don't think
Secretly,
so.
furtively?
She's more of a like Chip and Joanna Gaines
Okay.
type of mom. Like I don't know. She really likes these Amish stories that are like they're like Christian Amish love stories.
Oh.
I read a lot of them growing up too.
With
we read
like
them
with
together.
Rumspringa in them, or is Rumspringa
Well, it's always
excised?
like, oh, this girl is like in her Rumspringa, and then she meets this boy, and he gets her pregnant, and then she leaves because she's banished from the Amish community. But then she like finds the like Christian God that's the correct one, you know, later on in life, and then she makes peace with her Amish family and like that kind of shit.
Been there.
I met the author. Her name is Beverly Lewis, and she signed my books for me.
Okay. Does someone always say "Thou art banished"?
No, I think it's more shunning. It's
okay.
But it's all Pennsylvania Dutch, so there's all kinds of like weird Pennsylvania Dutch like words in it. But where they'll just be like, "Oh, dat."
They're always talking about going to Bird in Hand.
This is all spiraled from.
I'm so sorry.
Sexy Harrison Ford in Witness.
The Witness. Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
So weird. Okay. Oh, so where do you think this was set?
I'm gonna say I think it's America.
Okay.
Or somewhere that's like America. If it's like a fictional place.
It could be nameless.
And is this like contemporarily set? Like, is this set in?
It is set in the 1800s.
Okay.
So, and I'm fairly certain that we're gonna get a scene at the end where we find out whether or not Alexis Bledel drank the water.
Okay.
And then there's some time jumping that happens towards the end too.
Sure. So is it the Fountain of Youth that they found?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Is it like explicit? Do you think it's explicitly the Fountain of Youth, or do you think it's just figuratively?
No, I think it's more of like they don't dive into the lore of it so much.
Okay.
It's more like, hey, we were farming this land 100 years ago, and one of us, we all, came through here and we were thirsty and we drank from this spring. And then after like 25 years, we noticed that none of us were aging, and then we would have these accidents and nobody could die. And then we kept it a secret because we didn't want people to find out about it.
They were drinking pool runoff from Cocoon.
Yes.
Now, is there any sword fighting in this? Or any people beheaded? Is there any swashbuckling or any
There's
Highlander
no
stuff?
swashbuckling. I'm pretty sure there are some very like white flowy shirts.
Okay.
There's a lot of that.
Sure.
And there might be like some fisticuffs.
Okay.
It could be a bodice or two.
There might be a bodice, but she's younger, so I think she's like in more of that like that thing where like Victorian children just wore the same shit until they all turned 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like more of that type of thing. I I want to say that there might be like a jailbreak,
Okay.
but that's to be determined.
Now, this is right on the heels of A Knight's Tale. Do you think Thin Lizzy was used? Thin Lizzy's jailbreak was used for the jailbreak, or was this more of like a time contemporary or like old style classical music that would have been?
I'm thinking old style
Okay.
classical music.
Okay.
That's what I'm picturing. Like
Okay.
I'm picturing a lot of like it's very sort of country-y. So I'm picturing like a fiddle, maybe,
Right
as
on.
like most of the soundtrack.
And what was the last time, Karyn, that you think you've seen Tuck Everlasting?
It was probably like 2005.
Okay, we're coming
Okay.
up on your 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think it was about Tuck Everlasting that appealed to your younger self?
I think because of the way that I like came into it, not knowing anything about it, and just like seeing these like two like just beautiful children on the DVD cover and being like, oh, what is that about? It looks so like mysterious and romantic. And then finding out that it's like this almost like moral, ethical folklore tale about, living forever and like what does that actually cost you?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a time in my life where like I really wanted to make movies, and that was like I was coming right up on that. So I was just watching any movies that I could, like I would go and rent as many DVDs as I could afford with my allowance that week and just like watch them all over and over and over again. And
Were you diving into the special features on these?
this one I don't remember.
Okay.
But yes, absolutely
Yeah.
I was obsessed with Pirates of the Caribbean, like obsessed in the way that people are with like Harry Potter, but there's no like original property except for the ride at Disney World.
Sure. Did you go to the ride a lot?
I have never been to a Disney park.
Yeah, you don't have to. You're
actually, and I think I'm aged out of it now. I don't think I would have a good time.
Fine. Yes.
She goes to
Fully
those
concur.
she goes to those small town Tuck Everlasting parks.
Yes, where you like get to drink from a fountain, but it's like just you're not really supposed to drink it because somebody probably peed in it.
It's just Sierra Mist.
It's actually starry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sorry.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Sierra Mist.
I know.
I can't believe they murdered Sierra Mist.
Oh,
Somebody tried to pass off red vines at the movie theater as Twizzlers, and I was like, you already took Sierra Mist from me. Stop it.
Red vines. Adam and I have talked about this.
Vastly
Red vines
inferior.
are fucking terrible.
They're awful.
Red vines are on set, not Twizzlers,
Yeah.
because they're in the big. Well, maybe they actually aren't anymore. But before pre-pandemic, on set there would just be that big bucket of red vines, and you're like, what sickos
Like,
want
with
this on set?
Crap. Oh, yeah.
At Crafty, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Ugh.
gross. The worst.
They probably asked for Twizzlers, but the budget was red vine.
I think it's a weird tradition thing. I honestly think the red vines on at Crafty is a weird tradition thing, just like burning white sage, to like, yeah, it's a bizarre thing. But
Josh just fucked our Red Vine sponsorship.
that's fine. I didn't want that money anyway.
We didn't want it. It's dirty
was
money.
sickos.
It was so much money, Josh. Fuck, dude.
On the ashes of the Twizzler empire.
But Twizzlers, come hither.
Yeah.
We'll gladly take your Twizzlers money, and we'll shit on your competitors.
Free of
My
charge.
podcast will also do that.
Yes, yeah. Either Chick-Lit or Adam doesn't get a slice of this because he wasn't emphatic enough about hating red vines.
Yeah.
Anyway, come talk to us, Twizzlers.
Yes.
Is that Mars Company? Feels like
Most likely.
yeah, it feels like it's Mars. Yeah,
doesn't Mars just own everything now? And
I think
Hershey?
so.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Do they own Hershey?
Nestle owns
Nestle
everything
owns
too. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
You know, Nestle wants a piece of that Tuck Everlasting stream.
Oh,
Because
for sure.
they do sell water.
Yeah.
They also steal water, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nestle, not taking your money either. You fucks.
Speaking of capitalism.
Oh, Josh, you're fucking this whole season for us. Oh, God. All right,
So
gonna have to get into bed with some right-wing companies now.
yeah, we're gonna have to start selling brain pills.
We have to go to that Black Rock coffee cup or whatever that gun one is.
Oh, yeah.
Black Rifle.
Yeah.
My dad he has all this Black Rifle merch, and I'm like, "Can you even drink the coffee?" And he's like, "No."
Well, we could have turned them down until this episode. Now we're gonna have to listen to their offers.
Well, Just Coffee Duck Co-op, reach out. We want communist coffee to sponsor us. Thank you, please. All
Josh
right.
keeps dropping these so that gets in the transcript, and then
I hope so. I'm
they'll
trying.
find us.
I'm trying here. Also, Viagra. Reach out. Pfizer. Anyway, what memories do you have that stick out most about Tuck Everlasting? This could range from what your personal experiences were with a movie, hanging out with a friend group, anything that specifically sticks.
That first night, or a scene, or really anything.
I definitely remember that first night because my friend, who was my best friend in the neighborhood, who was really just my best friend, because I was homeschooled, and she had a brother who always also got to have a friend over. So it was like the only reason I ever went to a co-ed sleepover was because like my mom would just, well, it's fair, he has to have a friend over too, like whatever. And so I just remember like there was some boy there that I had a crush on, and he didn't want to watch the movie, but then I was like, do I want to spend time with the boy more and watch a dumb movie that I'm going to find boring? Or do I want to watch this movie that I've always wanted to watch because I've been walking past it in Blockbuster or Hometown Video or whatever for like however many months. And then I picked the movie over the boy, which I think was the right choice. So we went to the downstairs TV room, and they got the upstairs TV room so they could watch like Yu-Gi-Oh or something. And
If it was Yu-Gi-Oh, I think you made the right choice.
yeah, I definitely made the right choice.
Are you still do you still interact with any of the three people in question at all? Like, are they in your life at all?
You know what's really funny? So that friend and I still keep in touch fairly often. We're not like besties or anything, but she'll text me from time to time. We text like 2 or 3 times a year. And she texted me the other day and she was like, "You'll never guess who I ran into." And it was her brother's childhood friend, that same guy who I had such a huge crush on. We all did. Like all of the girls in the neighborhood like had such a huge crush on him.
He was the hunky tween of the neighborhood?
He was the hunky tween that like skateboarded and had floppy hair and like
did he have any like semi-unbuttoned puffy ruffled shirts?
Definitely it was like that phase where everyone was wearing like skater shoes with cargo pants and like a polo for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, gotcha.
So she was like, "You'll never guess who I ran into the other day." And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Matt." And I was like, "Really?" And she was like, "Yeah, he asked about you." And I was like, "No way."
Did he ask about Tuck Everlasting?
He did not. I don't think he had any memory of that, but there was lots of memories to be had at their house for many, many years.
See, I thought we were going to hear about how you became friends with the cool mom in the neighborhood.
We were friends. I really liked her, and I have always been like the wet blanket of my friend group. And like the mom that everyone kind of, and the one that would always like the goody two shoes. Everyone was like, "Karen's gonna tattle on us if we do this thing," And so but I don't know, maybe she just saw that in me because she would always be like, Karen, you can't lie to me." And I'd be like, no, I didn't do that.
Did you tell your friend that you're gonna do this Tuck Everlasting?
No, but I'm gonna text her now because I'm gonna have to like be like, "Hey, I was talking about you."
Call her out by name. It's fine.
No. And that guy's never gonna listen to this.
Who knows?
We go in as unadulterated to your viewing as possible. Don't let this mysterious old friend taint your rewatch.
Yes. No, definitely not. I feel like I watched it once with her and then she probably forgot about it, and then I ended up watching it like 6 more times. You made
it a religion, and
I did because that's all I knew.
Yeah.
What expectations do you have for your return to Tuck Everlasting?
My expectations are that it's probably not going to hold up, and I'm just going to set that expectation for myself. Maybe not in like it's a horrible, horrible movie type of way, but just maybe it's not going to be the childhood movie of my dreams.
Mhm.
I mean, it's such a great movie for a kid because it's like eternal youth, what I don't know. But like what is that? What does that come with?
Mhm.
But I'm gonna set my expectations low and then hopefully I'll be like pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
Um, or
Is
it could
there
just be
anything you're
awful.
is there anything you're specifically concerned about?
Alexis Bledel is like she's great in Gilmore Girls. I don't think she's like the greatest like serious movie actress. I think she did a pretty good job in Handmaid's Tale. That's like the most serious thing I've ever seen her in. But like at this age, she was still just really like developing her acting skills. So I think I might cringe a little hard. And then I don't remember who the other kids are played by. I don't think really anybody famous. The only other most famous person, I'm 99.9% sure that Sissy Spacek is in this.
Okay.
I think she
Academy Award
plays.
winner.
She's very good.
Yes.
She's a great actress.
She really is.
She
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Sissies, you're welcome on the show.
Yeah.
Please come discuss your time on
Putting that out there.
the most famous movie you've ever acted in, Tuck Everlasting.
Yeah.
She'd probably get a kick out of talking about it. So many people want to talk about her, Carrie and Badlands, and
True.
we would be the.
I own Badlands. I have the Criterion Blu-ray. Like, I love
I've never seen
Badlands.
it.
Oh God.
Is it about
It's-
the Badlands?
No, it's
No.
Oh,
about
okay.
the Starkweather murders.
Oh, okay.
She does a great job in Bloodline too.
She is great in Bloodline. Yeah.
Yeah, the Netflix show with
Yeah.
With the guy from Early Edition and Friday Night Lights,
Yeah,
right?
Kyle Chandler.
Yeah.
Who is very delightful in person.
but also
Really
Ben
nice
Mendelsohn. Is
Ben
in that
Mendelsohn's fucking amazing.
season, and yeah,
God,
he
Ben
just,
Mendelsohn
like-
is such a fucking psycho in like the best way possible.
won the Emmy for Best Actor in a pretty stacked division, and
Yeah.
like didn't even bother to show up for it.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a fucking serious dude.
That's crazy.
He's not flying to LA just
He
for
doesn't
an
give a
award.
shit about awards. He's Australian too, so
Yeah.
I get not
Oh,
wanting to
right.
make that fucking flight.
Yeah.
Especially for the Emmys. If it was the Oscars, I'm sure his agent would
Probably
be like,
would.
"No, you have to fucking go, dick." But it was the Emmys. No one
Isn't it
cares.
like 25 hours or something crazy?
The Emmys is long.
Oh, I just meant the flight. But
Oh,
yes.
the flight. Yeah, no, the flight's 20 hours, I think, from Sydney to LA.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to
Sucks.
make that flight either, Ben.
Are you gonna fly me privately? Am I gonna be able to lay down in a bed?
Seriously. Do some calisthenics once in a
I
while.
think it was probably a surprise too that he won. I don't think anybody was
Yeah,
expecting that.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah. Sorry. Another digression.
That's what you get with me. Sorry.
Well, that's unfortunately that's what you get with me and Sean too.
I was gonna say you knew what you were getting into.
Yeah. Sorry,
A
listeners.
lot of that.
All right. Well, I think that more or less covers the pre-interview of, before you've gone back and watched this for the first time in nearly 20 years.
So excited.
I think it's gonna. I mean, obviously, Sean and I are kind of outside of the target demographic, and
Oh,
we're
yeah,
never
for
in
sure.
it because we were fucking 23 when this came out, 22, 23.
You know what I found out? Just because I didn't really like look anything up
Mhm.
about it, but I did realize that there was actually an 80s film adaptation of it
How old's the
as
book?
well. 1981.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. And it was also adapted to a musical stage play
Okay.
that I'm sure didn't do very well.
Josh, you have some deep diving to do.
Ah, Jesus. I'm not gonna. I can't
We're
imagine.
drinking
I'm
the
gonna watch
water.
Oh God. And they repeat, "We're drinking the water" for like.
For 45 minutes.
Jesus. Well, Karyn, looking forward to watching this for next week. Sean and I, of course, have never seen this.
I think it's safe to say that without you, Karyn, Josh and I would have never seen this.
Yes.
I was surprised when you picked it because I gave you like quite a diverse list of movies.
Yeah. No, it was it's one of those like I don't think Sean and I are shying away from stuff that's not like necessarily up our alley. And I think this is kind of a strangely beloved property.
Speaking for Josh, Karyn, I think that this was one where we thought we might not see it come up on a list for a while.
Mhm.
So why not take advantage of it with you?
Seize the day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Carpe diem.
Let's tuck it up.
Do we have to tuck for this whole movie, Sean?
I mean,
Is that what this is about?
I'm gonna make that stipulation.
Is that what this is about? Is that what the movie's actually about? The never
Josh,
It's a
tucking?
metaphor.
next episode, you get 2 tuck jokes, and then you hit your quota. So use them sparingly.
Well, Karyn, looking forward to next week. Thank you for joining
You
us.
as well.
And
Thank
everybody,
you.
obviously, check out Chick-Lit. Where can they find you on social media?
We are on Instagram and Twitter at Chick-Lit-Pod. That's CHICKLITPOD. And nowhere else currently because I can only handle 2 social media things. I think we have a Blue Sky, but I'm not even going to plug it.
I'm on too many, and it makes me want to kill myself.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Commit.
Makes him want to get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
It does. Just never again. And the podcast is available on all podcast platforms, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, everybody,
Check out Chick-Lit.
yeah, check out Chick-Lit. I know you've done Twilight and New Moon. You're doing New Moon now.
We're doing New Moon now.
Have you been doing the Chick-Lit at the movies as much recently?
Not as frequently. It's been
more
hard.
moving pieces, yeah.
It's more moving pieces. So, but we do have quite a number of movie episodes where we have guests on to discuss films. It's much more of a generalized thing.
Yeah. Adam and I were on for Thin Man. Yeah.
Yes. That was one of my favorite episodes we've done. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on your podcast.
No, it was super fun. I love that movie so much. Sean does too. Sean's actually the one who made me watch it.
Yeah, I think we've talked about how it's the only example in film we can think of where a man knocks out his wife to save her life.
It's true.
Yeah, and it's very funny when he does it.
He was a sexagenarian.
Yeah, I mean, you could that movie is so dense joke wise.
Yeah.
I mean, jokes per sentence it's probably like a staggering amount.
Yeah.
It's like really, really high.
It's really funny.
Waiter, will you serve the guests? Will you serve the nuts? I mean, will you serve the guests the nuts?
Or like it takes like 10 minutes for either Nick or Nora to show up, but when Nora comes in and she has him line up, and she asks how many drinks her husband's had, and I think he said 6, and it's either 4 or 6, but she has the waiter line up 4 so she can catch up, and then smash cut to her being hungover the next morning.
The hungover Nora is like such
amazing.
I relate to that on a spiritual level.
Drinking wasn't a problem back in 1934.
No, it was for health.
Yeah.
So was smoking.
Yeah. You have to do both of them.
They're never not drinking in that movie. It's fucking amazing. It's the drunkest movie I've maybe ever seen.
I think it's drunker than like any given episode of Mad Men.
It's drunker than Leaving Las Vegas.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty drunk. And they made a lot of them.
Yeah, they did.
Yes.
Like 6, right?
I think I've only seen like 1 or 2. I've only
seen
seen
the
like
first
2 maybe.
4 or 5. I just haven't seen the last one.
They're all pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of a diminishing return, but if you like Nick and you like Nora and you like that style,
their chemistry's great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Anyway, everyone should listen to that episode. That's in all the Munch My Benson show notes. Literally every episode. You can find a link to that. So anyway, Karyn, thank you.
All right, Karyn. We'll see you next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
You've just listened to another installment of the Unkind Rewind podcast, mining and potentially ruining your childhood for content, one film at a time. Unkind Rewind is a Munchcast production and can be ingested wherever you listen to podcasts and on the Unkind Rewind YouTube channel. Music for this and every other episode of Unkind Rewind was composed by Divorcio Suave. Rate, review, like, and subscribe to Unkind Rewind on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and Good Pods. Links to all our social media accounts are in our show notes, but you'll find us as @UnkindRewindPod on nearly every social media platform, all of which are available at our website, unkindrewind.com. If you have a question, concern, complaint, or feedback, you can email the podcast at unkindrewindpod@gmail.com or call into our call-in line, area code 507-479-6440, and leave a message that can be played on air. Fans should join the Munchcast Discord to discuss this or any other episode of the Unkind Rewind with like-minded people. This dialogue may just make it into a future episode of the pod. The Unkind Rewind Patreon will be coming soon, so start squirreling that pocket change away. Thank you for listening to another Unkind Rewind.